Hi everyone. So we'll continue memorizing from the book of Hebrews. So we reached Hebrews chapter 4 verse 14. So only 3 more verses in chapter 4. So the last passage, that is 14, 15 and 16 is about Jesus, the high priesthood of Jesus. So here it is given Jesus the great high priest. So that's a heading. So I'll read 14 first. Hebrews chapter 4 verse 14. Since then we have a great high priest who has passed through the heavens, Jesus the Son of God, let us hold fast our confession. Since then we have a great high priest who has passed through the heavens, Jesus the Son of God, let us hold fast our confession. So I'll read 14, 15 and 16 together. Jesus the great high priest. Since then we have a great high priest who has passed through the heavens, Jesus the Son of God, let us hold fast our confession. For we have not a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who in every respect has been tempted as we are, yet without sinning. Let us then with confidence draw near to the throne of grace, that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in time of need. So that is the last passage in chapter 4 that talks about Jesus the great high priest. So Jesus the high priest is the high priesthood of Jesus is one of the central themes in the book of Hebrews. So in multiple places we see Jesus as the high priest. So the first reference we already reflected, that was given in chapter 2 verse 17. So I'll read that. Hebrews chapter 3 verse 17 to 17. Therefore he had to be made like his brethren in every respect, so that he might become a merciful and faithful high priest in the service of God, to make expiation for the sins of the people. For because he himself has suffered and been tempted, he is able to help those who are tempted. So we already reflected on that. So a similar thing we see here also. For we have not a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who in every respect has been tempted as we are, yet without sinning. Let us then with confidence draw near to the throne of grace, that we may receive mercy and find grace to help in time of need. So this is a second reference about the high priesthood of Jesus. So chapter 5 is again a continuation of the high priesthood of Jesus. So 5 verses 1 to 6 again talks about the high priesthood of Jesus. So in 5:6 we read, as he also says in another place, you are a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek. So this beautifully explains the priesthood of Jesus. In Hebrews, as I said, it's one of the central themes, and in many chapters or many places it's given. So I thought I'll just give the reference of all of that. So we saw already in chapter 2 it is given. Chapter 4 ends with that. Chapter 5 begins with that. And again, when you come to chapter 7, the entire chapter is about the priesthood of Christ. So main headings I'll read. Chapter 7, the first paragraph, the priestly order of Melchizedek. Then next paragraph is another priest according to the order of Melchizedek. And chapter 7 is completely about that. And chapter 8 also we see mediator of a new covenant. 8 verses 3 we read this, for every high priest is appointed to offer gifts and sacrifice. Hence it is necessary for this priest also to have something to offer. So chapter 8 also speaks about the priesthood. In chapter 10 also it's given Christ's sacrifice once for all. So here we read in verse 10, and by that we will have been sanctified through the offering of the body of Jesus Christ once for all. And every priest stands daily at the service, offering repeatedly the same sacrifices, which can never take away sins. But when Christ had offered for all time a single sacrifice for sins, he sat down at the right hand of God, then to wait until his enemies should be made a stool for his feet. So in chapter 10 also we see the reference of the high priesthood of Jesus. So in multiple places in the book of Hebrews we see Jesus as the high priest. So today I just wanted to give all the references of that. So we have seen it in chapter 2. We saw again in chapter 4, again in chapter 5, we see the same reference. And chapter 7, the entire chapter is that. Again in chapter 8 also we see that. Then again in chapter 10 it is given. So in multiple places it's given. So this one of the central themes, and we should actually meditate on the priesthood of Jesus. And the book of Hebrews, it beautifully explains why Jesus is called the high priest. What is the meaning of that high priesthood? So it beautifully explains that. So we'll meditate on that in detail when we go through those verses. So with this I want to conclude today's meditation. Thank you. God bless you all.